Heidi ho, Heidi ho. So the message today. Obviously, we've been talking about the tree of life and the circle of life and the tree of death, knowledge of good and evil, and the circle of death. So, Charles Dickens, they build towering monuments to their own charities in the daylight while devouring the innocence of the most desperate children in the shadows. So, the Tower of Babel. Let's create a name for ourselves, and this place shall be Elohim to us. And those who believe they have a right to rule over others like to put up statues like the Statue of Liberty and carve faces in the side of mountains and give you the American idols and Israeli idols and British idols and you name it. So they like to give you idols and have you looking at shiny things, bread and circuses, give you bread and circuses, things to watch with your eyes, the sparkly things. They convince you to have holidays to where you exchange gifts. Well, gifts blind the eyes of justice. But the key is the men who want to build these towering monuments and put their names on it and, Trump Towers, Kushner wanting to build towering buildings and have himself a little theme park and yada yada. The whole bunch of them. Well, that's Sabbatean Zevi, and Yaakov, Jacob, Frank ideology, Frankism. They believe in all kind of perversion, so they believe in making a name for themselves, but they also believe in pushing you to accept a name, pushing you to use a fiat currency to where they get credit every time you pass one of their fiat dollars. They get credit on that dollar. So you think of a dollar and how many times it's been passed around to how many different hands and how many times it's been taxed. That same dollar has probably collected over $100 in taxes. So that is the key. And then they convince you that they're doing things for the children. The whole time they're racketeering from the children, giving them a slave name and a Social Security trust account so they've got their identification, their number, because they're numbered, which is against the law. You're not supposed to number another man. But anyway, they give them numbers, and a mother or a father will collect off of that number throughout the child's life, not realizing the whole time they're collecting, the child is the one that's going to end up paying the bill for it. So the taxes and everything that are accrued, all these agencies that are created by that Title 28 corporation and every other Title 28 corporation on all of the land, all earth, because they're all pushing the same laws, they're all pushing the same banking. They want central banks, but it all goes back to the actual original central bank. So they want to have complete control over your currency, which would be your energy, your sweat equity, your God-given gift that was given from God. Your freedom of movement, freedom of travel, freedom of expression. We're attached to everything we attach ourselves to. And they've got you following all the perversions, believing it's paperwork that makes you lawful. And that's why we have all the perversions that we have, because man believes that if he has a piece of paper. So think of it this way. You cannot patent. Let me repeat that. You can't get a patent for anything in nature. So if a man gives you a piece of paper saying that identifies you, that right there is prima facie evidence on its face that it's not you. Because you can't patent nature. This body cannot have a patent. You can't give it a document. Your ruach can't have a patent because it has no image. To truly know a man, you have to know the content of character, not the vessel. You can't read the book by the cover. So, asking somebody for their identification, if you're asking somebody to identify themselves with these bodies, that's a violation of the law. That's coloring of the law. So you can say white man, black man, that's coloring of the law. Identifying by the body as coloring of the law. That's a violation of Title 18 of the United States Code 1001, 1002, 241, and 242 because it's a fictitious conveyance of language, false and misleading statements. So if another man tells you you have to identify yourself with a state ID, it's a violation of the law. So anyway, they want to build towers for themselves, but they also need sociopaths and psychopaths, the bullies, to try to bully others because they're cowards and they want to hide behind locked doors. They don't want to come out and do it themselves. They just want to feed off of your children and yourself, off of your energy, your sweat equity. That's a message for today. Don't be fooled by those who want to live and babble. God bless. Much love.